Hey everyone, Lou here. I don't know if you noticed through my Instagram or Twitter, but I absolutely love Disney movies. Say what you will about Elsa taking over your local grocery store in an eternal winter, or Disney slowly buying everything in the world until we're under the dictatorship of Mickey Mouse, but you can't deny the magic of Disney. As I've been in a big Disney mood lately, I thought I'd do a video trying to defend Disney sequels, which is another nostalgic thing for me as it was in my 4Kids video. Roll that intro and let's get started. Right, so I'm not gonna go over every Disney sequel, and the ones I'm talking about have to be direct-to-DVD release. Why not every single one? Well, some are for Disney movies I really don't care too much for, like Fox and the Hound and The Jungle Book, while others are for movies where I haven't seen the original in over a decade, like Lilo and Stitch and Brother Bear. First thing with this list, I'm gonna go over the hot garbage ones, the ones that are so bad they make bargain bin bootlegs look more entertaining than this trash. Atlantis: Milo's Return. What if we made a sequel to Atlantis about exploring Elder Tor and other cool myths and legends? Or we could make a TV show all about Kida learning lessons about being a ruler to get those kids educated. Bobby, you're a genius. Atlantis was one of those Disney movies I didn't really appreciate too much until I was much older. But this sequel makes me sad. Take everything that made Atlantis a really great movie and just turn it into liquid hot ass, and you get this compilation of a canceled TV show. Ariel's Beginning. Right. So you're gonna make a Footloose-inspired prequel about Ariel's dad banning music. You know, Ariel's dad who starts off the original Little Mermaid with a fucking concert. Also, this musical does something that really pisses me off, because it's always used in the shit argument that Disney princesses before the 2000s were bad. Stop making Ariel seem like she's happy under the sea. Dude, in the movie she sings about how much she hates it there. Does everyone forget the lines of "Flipping your fins, you don't get too far," and "Sick of swimming, ready to stand"? It's also just a really boring musical, even with mermaids, which are my favorite fantasy creatures next to unicorns and elves. Tarzan 2. Literally just a midquel about, literally the sequence in Son of Man from the original movie. Tarzan is another one of my favorite Disney movies, and seeing sequels like this are really bad. It's also just not very entertaining either, really. Also, there's a severe lack of Phil Collins, which makes me very sad. Belle's Magical World. Another canceled TV show turned into a movie that's bad. I remember as a kid this one in particular was the one I played the least because it was just so gosh damn boring. And what's the worst Disney sequel? The one that legitimately pisses me off and makes me want to bitch slap Michael Eisner and his stupid decisions? Hunchback of Notre Dame 2. Hunchback of Notre Dame is my favorite Disney movie of all time. Its symbolism, powerful score, brilliant animation, and the gorgeous setting of medieval France that really makes it close to my heart. This movie both means a lot to me and is one of the reasons why animation is one of my favorite forms of film. Now, take this beautiful movie that shows you don't need a love interest to be happy, a movie with songs so powerful that I legitimately get chills, and turn it into a generic Saturday morning cartoon that would play just after Gargoyles, just so kids know that's the cartoon you switch off and watch something better. Maybe someday I'll fully review it, but this movie needs to burn in hellfire with Claude Frollo there. It's like someone on the Nice Guy subreddit tried to make a fucking fanfiction to the best Disney movie of all time. My gosh. Okay, now that I got the shit ones out of the way, let's move on to fully talking about the great Disney sequels. I always loved these sequels growing up, and I want to try and defend them and prove that honestly, some of these sequels are pretty great, even if they lack in animation, or just budget in general. Aladdin and Return of Jafar. Okay, just hear me out. Seriously, put down your pitchforks and just hear me out. This was the pilot to the Aladdin TV series, which, by the way, if you love Tangled's TV series, then you would absolutely love Aladdin's because honestly, it's pretty great. And while it is a really shaky start, I think it opens the door for some interesting plots. I do honestly wish the stakes were higher. Instead of Abismal, who is honestly the least threatening villain from the TV show, I would have loved to have seen Mosenrath who to find Jafar instead. Not only is Mosenrath just like Kylo Ren if he wasn't a little bitch and had an actual personality, but he's also the best villain in Aladdin thanks to his immense sass and, the skilly hand. Is it still bad? Yeah, but I at least appreciate what it introduced to the audience before the TV show aired. Tarzan and Jane. Okay, yes, this is another bad one viewed, but what many people don't actually know is that this isn't a canceled TV show. Tarzan actually had a TV show with the intro still being two worlds, which gets bonus points for Phil Collins, and the TV show was actually really awesome. My personal favorite episode was the one where a poisonous spider bit Tarzan and he starts to slowly die and begins to hallucinate of all his enemies he's defeated up until this point haunting him. Even back then I was a sadistic little shit who loved me some angst. The funny thing is that the episodes they put in are some of the worst of the TV show, and the overarching story that connects them in the movie is honestly kind of dumb, but I still kind of enjoy watching it. Was it super amazing? No, but it was really nostalgic, and I love the ending because I love Tarzan and Jane because they're hashtag goals. Also, I had a major crush on Tarzan when I was younger because do I really need to say why? Oh, who am I kidding? I still do. Cinderella 3. Yeah, Cinderella 2 is bad. I didn't mention it before, but it's honestly so forgettable and boring that just forget it even exists and only consider this one the real Cinderella 2. Not only did this movie give us the meme of Prince Charming jumping out a gosh damn window,
I forbid you to take another step down these stairs! Okay.
but I love what it did too. It reminded me of just a really cool fan fiction, but an actually good one that you read all in one night, I think people beat this movie to death in its quality, so just trust me that this is actually a really good one. Bambi 2. Yeah, this movie honestly has a really weird setup, but I still really liked it. Bambi is pretty much like watching a nature documentary, and that's fine. Bambi is a classic and still brilliantly animated, but I just really like the story here. I just really love the character of the Great Prince, who originally had the personality of a real deer at 50 feet away when you thought you saw him while you were looking out the window on a long car ride, and it just felt more fleshed out to me. I feel like Bambi is for people who simply want to look at art, and Bambi 2 is more for people who want a little more character to it. Hell, even the deer that tries to assault Feline near the end of the original movie got a character, and it's Seto Kaiba in deer form. Peter Pan 2. Yeah, it's a classic movie, but I really liked this sequel. Depending on the version you read, Peter Pan sometimes does end with Wendy teaching her daughter about Peter Pan. Yeah, they didn't really go too far with it, but I like the World War II setting of this and the reasoning on why Jane needs to go to Neverland. I've seen some people say that Jane is a bitch, but she's a girl in World War II whose father is a soldier. She's probably seen or heard buildings blow up right in front of her, and is about to get shipped out away from her family where it's possible her mother might get bombed while she's out in the countryside. Could they explore this? Not too much, but I like it still. It's different from Wendy, who didn't want to grow up. In this case, it's Jane who had to grow up too fast. Also, I like that reference to the original play with Tinkerbell dying, because I just keep wanting to shout in my head, maybe if Jane claps real hard, she'll come back to life. Gosh, I'm so mean. Lion King 2. Just as Lion King is Hamlet with lions, okay, it's more like Disney's adaptation of Kimba the White Lion, but shh, don't let the mouse hear that. Lion King 2 is Romeo and Juliet with lions. While I think the story is okay, the music here is honestly really strong that it kinda has me a little shook, to be honest. He Lives in You is such a damn good song that it's actually used in the Broadway musical. It's an amazing song too, so hey, props to them. We Are One is another amazing song in my book. I just really love the sweet care of Simba as a parent and telling Kiara about the circle of life and all that. Also, this movie is how to spot a furry 101. Basically, if Kova was your crush as a kid, you're probably a furry. No offense to furries, by the way. I'm just pointing out the obvious here. Little Mermaid 2. Okay. I know people hate this one a lot because it's basically just Little Mermaid if Ariel wanted to be in the ocean instead of on land. But I just really love Melody. Melody is such an adorable character, and I just love her, and I love her songs in the movie, even though she really only has one. But I still just really like this movie. Yes, the sidekicks are honestly terrible. Morgana is kind of bad and stuff, but I really love this movie. What can I say? Melody just makes up for a lot of it in my eyes. Also, the fact that, hey, Disney for once actually paid attention to genetics, because Melody actually looks like she could be the daughter of Ariel and Eric instead of just a clone of Ariel for once. And now for the best Disney sequel, the one I think beats out all other Disney sequels. Aladdin and the King of Thieves. Now, apparently the original plot of this movie was supposed to reveal that Mosenrath was Aladdin's brother. I don't know how, but it was supposed to. The idea was then cancelled due to writing issues and the fact that Mosenrath's voice actor had died, I think, somewhere in the production or shortly after this idea. So they decided to go with Plan B, which was that Aladdin's dad was the King of Thieves, and it was about Aladdin realizing this and learning to bond with his father. Honestly, I really like this sequel. I love the character of Aladdin's father. I think he's actually really well written for a character in a sequel. The only things I think hold this movie back is the bad animation, my gosh, and the fact that the genie doesn't really have anything to do. Understandable, because honestly, after the genie is freed, there's really nothing for him to do anyway. This movie is so good that I legitimately want to see the live-action Aladdin someday make a sequel of this movie, because I honestly think that if someone had a lot more time and budget to it, this movie would honestly be like 10 out of 10, just as equal as the original Aladdin. Another thing is just the exploration of Aladdin and Jasmine's relationship, because throughout the entire series, it was kind of showing them work things out in their relationship, as they still had a few things to work out between each other, what with the whole class system and everything. And so by the end of it, Aladdin and Jasmine are honestly hashtag relationship goals, especially when you hear the song Don't Come Out of Thin Air, because it just really cultivates their entire relationship and shows how beautifully healthy it is. That honestly makes me want to slap people when they say Aladdin and Jasmine aren't a healthy relationship. And that would be it. Now, why didn't I talk about how and why these Disney sequels were made? Well, it's obvious that Michael Eisner wanted money, and second, there's some really great videos on YouTube discussing the reason why these Disney sequels were made already, so that's kind of beating a dead horse if I continue to touch this, but I still hope everyone enjoyed it. I tried my best to defend these sequels. Some of them are honestly bad that it was kind of hard to defend them, but some are just good that I just had to step up onto the podium and shout out how much I love these obvious cash grabs. Though I am curious, so let me know down below what your favorite Disney sequel was. I'm honestly kind of curious to hear if anybody liked any of the sequels on this list or liked the ones that I didn't mention at all. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, then be sure to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you're new. And if any old or new subs would like to help support the channel in any way, then feel free to visit my Ko-fi page down below in the description, along with my social media tabs. For any subscribers, new or old, who'd like to help with video ideas or maybe want to talk about anime or something, then I have a fan server linked down below. See you next time!